Hello everyone, my name is Alia Shohada and today I would like to tell you about who is Ibn Khaldun and his life story. Let's go! Ibn Khaldun, or also known as Abu Zaid Abdul Ar-Rahman Ibn Khaldun, was a 14th century Muslim sociologist, philosopher and historian. He was born on May 27, 1332 in Tunis, Tunisia and died at the age of 73 on March 17, 1406 at Cairo, Egypt. Basically, Ibn Khaldun worked as a philosopher, writer or historian, diplomat and a teacher. He was naturally intelligent, curious and bright. Being from high-ranking family, he received a quality education. Some of the best teachers were recruited to tutor him grammar, jurisprudence, hadith, poetry, and many more. His classical Islamic education also included studying Al-Quran, which he memorized by heart. He reached a certain proficiency in these subjects and received certifications in them. But in spite of being born into a wealthy, high-ranking family, his young life was fraught with difficulties. Tragedy struck the young boy family when both of his parents perished during an intercontinental epidemic of the plague that hit Tunis in 1348 until 1349. And finally, Ibn Khaldun orphaned at the age of 17. Well, he got married at a young age and had children. However, he suffered a terrible tragedy in 1384 when a ship carrying his wife and children sank off the coast of Alexandria. When he was 20 years of age, he secured perhaps his first major job as a seal bearer in the government of Indu Tafrakin, then ruler of Tunisia. Hardly had begun to acclimatize to his new job when the Sultan of Constantine Abu Ziyad toppled the rulers of Tunis. In 1357, he was slapped with more than a year prison sentence for sabotaging the rule of the Sultan. Less than a year later, he was freed from prison. Around 1375, Ibn Khaldun had grown very frustrated of the political climate and required him to switch sides. He decided to focus on scholastic works and at that time he started working his famous work, the Muqaddimah. Ibn Khaldun's best known work is the Muqaddimah, also known as the Muqaddimah of Ibn Khaldun, which records an early view of universal history. The work is regarded by some modern thinkers as the first work dealing with the philosophy of history or the social science of sociology, demography, historiography, cultural history, social Darwinism, Marxism, and economics. For centuries, the Muqaddimah was of tremendous influence on many scholars across the world, including famous Renaissance author Niccolo Machiavelli.
Hi everyone, my name is Nurbahaya binti Basharuddin and I want to talk about the major contribution of Ibn Khaldun. First of all, Ibn Khaldun has discussed dynamics of human nature at length in his monumental work Al-Muqaddimah. For him, man is by nature social by nature and both good and evil elements are ingrained in him.
Going by human nature, he drew a distinction between man and animal on the following grounds.
A. Human being has innate capacity of reasoning means capacity of reasoning in the roots of perception, volition, and ability to think and act. This innate human nature distinguishes man from other animals. B. Cooperation, cohesion, and competition are the features of human beings. Cooperation enables them to satisfy the needs in an efficient manner and protects them from external threat, while competition leads to conflict, which in turn brings about change. Next, on the role of language in society, Ibn Khaldun made a significant contribution to the understanding of the relation between language and society. The level and richness of a language find reflection in the literary and philosophical works, which in turn indicates to the level of development of a society. He argued that alongside territoriality and culture, a common language helps social interaction and social solidarity. It also marks distinctiveness of a culture and a population. Ibn Khaldun observed that the lifeways of remote desert lands are marked by much hardship, whereby survival is a great challenge. The urban sedentary lifeways in desert lands, on the other hand, are relatively comfortable and facilitate development of arts, craft, and other creative fields. His notion of collectivity and solidarity articulates in Asabiyah and distinction between lifeways of non-urban and urban social settings in desert lands are very unique. Ibn Khaldun made a significant contribution to the field of social epidemiology by classifying diseases based on their distribution among the urban and remote desert dwellers. He examined the linkage between urban lifestyle, especially the food habit, rich diet, and diseases. He observed that the city dwellers were lazy and reluctant to do physical exercise. Hard work was not a part of their everyday life, and this, according to him, was the primary reasons behind higher frequency of diseases among the city dwellers compared to desert dwellers. He also observed greater use of medicines by the city dwellers. The desert dwellers often had scarcity of food grains and had to work very hard for a hand-to-mouth existence. Fighting with adverse nature and for food define the essence of desert life and culture. Social customs were framed accordingly.
Okay, so we move to the next part. My name is Nur Sofia and I will help you guys to understand the sociological theory of Ibn Khaldun. Ibn Khaldun is trying to present a sociological theory through his book, named Al-Muqaddimah, where it is concerned with widespread, strong collective belief and faith that would enable to understand a society among Bedouins of the Arab. Ibn Khaldun is not against the tenets of religion while assessing society. For him, religion strengthens collective bond among members of society. One of his theory included that the dynasties only have so much land to conquer. When the dynasties have reached their maximum capacity and they are trying to widen and expand the cities on the outer edge, they are exposed to potentially being attacked by an enemy or a neighbor. So we take the Byzantine Empire as an example. Constantinople, a city in Syria, served as the center of the Byzantine Empire. When the Byzantine Empire lost Syria to the Muslims, it retreated to its capital, Constantinople, and started to repair itself. This illustrates the thesis of Ibn Khaldun related to Arabs. Many Western theories, such as Emile Durkheim, are believed to be influenced by his theories. As example, Malik bin Nabi was a modern Islamic thinker of his time and was one of the fans of Ibn Khaldun's thinking. He is also said to be among the best Muslim thinkers after the scholars. In the concept of history and civilization, his ideas were heavily influenced by Ibn Khaldun and some other Islamic thinkers. He lived in the days of the French colonies and began to realize how backward the Muslim community was then. Not only that, the colonies tried to apply Western culture, and at the same time, they wanted to change the identity and cultural values of Islam. That's why he's trying to make a difference. When the Arab first converted to Islam, there were a sizable population that grew rapidly, taking control of nations to the east, south, and west. This can be linked to a Asabiyah concept that was discussed in one of his sociology papers, Al-Asabiyah, which translates to social solidarity, is the nasab of the descendant or a tribe. Ibn Khaldun also used the concept of Asabiyah frequently in his writing, connecting it to the development and collapse of civilizations, along with resources for political stability and economic growth. It is also linked to the fundamental human, social, and political structures.
Hello everyone, I am Damia and I am going to share to all of you why you should know about Ibn Khaldun. First thing first, He was a Muslim Arab sociologist, philosopher, and historian. He is widely acknowledged being one of the greatest social scientists of the Middle Ages. He focused on political history as well as sociology and economics. He was instrumental in the development of ideas such as the social contracts. He is also considered as one of the most influential thinkers of the Islamic Golden Age, with contributions in the field of history, sociology, economics, demography, and philosophy. Did you know that Ibn Khaldun wrote the Muqaddimah? Ibn Khaldun's most significant work is the Muqaddimah. It translates to introduction in English. In this book, he discussed about historical methods and provided the necessary criteria for distinguishing historical truth from error. The Muqaddimah is considered as one of the most phenomenal work on the philosophy of history ever written. It details all human history for the past 700 years and look at all the different cultures through history and their trends. He wrote the book while he's still a young man, which in many ways served as the foundation of all subsequent studies of his time. Other than being a Muslim scientist, Ibn Khaldun has a great attention to learning. His brilliant thoughts, both in the field of learning and others, always base them on empirical fact, which he then consults with the Quran and Sunnah. He is also credited with being the first to develop a modern theory of societies. Ibn Khaldun looks at how societies change, how they reproduce themselves, and how their cultural value come about. His theories has been influential in history, sociology, political science, as well as international relations. In addition, people have called him a sociologist because of his theories in social cohesion and sustainability. He is one of the most widely read scholars of the Middle Ages. He is also known as the father of sociology, especially in his Muqaddimah and Kitab al-Ibar. There are many books written about him and his work. He is also known as the architect of history, who found and developed the model of history based on a universal, cyclic, and progressive process that can be observed in all societies. For example, religion, language and culture, political organization, and economy. His theory is one of the most influential evolutionary models ever discovered.
Hello, hi everyone. My name is Musfira binti Muhammad Yunus, metric number 286737. From this documentary, the reflection of Ibn Khaldun's theory has changed the sociology phase. From this documentary, the reflection of Ibn Khaldun's theory has changed the sociology phase. Ibn Khaldun's art is that in the Middle Age, he provided a complete and efficient example of new science called historical sociology, which is an evolved form of history. Historical sociology is knowledge with the theoretical and practical application to know human and change their view and behavior. There are three definitions of historical sociology: the necessity of historical process, freedom and containment in the past of individuals, the dynamic between human capacity and social structure. Ibn Khaldun has explained in Muqaddimah the theoretical foundation of humanities and singled out a historical causes of humanities in Islamic civilization from the 7th to the 15th centuries. Ibn Khaldun thought has been new thinking in humanities and regarded by his contemporary with the same title. He is the great analyst of civilization before the pre-modern era. In conclusion, Ibn Khaldun is a model in humanity in past and future for thinking about society and humanity. From the second half of the 20th century, researchers at the Frankfurt School sought an alternative model for social science. This model is the same paradigm of Ibn Khaldun for social thinking. The present article has proved that Ibn Khaldun model has developed an independent systematic form for interpreting the history of nature and society about value, religion, and the institution based on applying practical reason. Ibn Khaldun has influenced the subject of history, philosophy of history, sociology, political science, and education has remained paramount since his life.